Of all the productivity tools out there, Monday is definitely high up on our list. So today we're going to be giving you a complete breakdown on how to use Monday.com. The tips, the tricks, everything. Whether you're a beginner, whether you're someone who's just coming back to the platform after a while away, this video is going to give you everything you need to know to create tasks, boards, and more. So with that being said, let's skip all the fluff and jump right into Monday.com. So once you sign up for Monday.com, you're going to see this thing that says, let's start working together. And it's going to actually ask you to name your first board. Now, boards on Monday.com is where all of your content lives. So I'm just going to call it Josh's board. And we can see it show up on the right here. And now we can hit next. Now the next thing it's going to ask you is to select the relevant columns for your board. So we have owner, status, due date, files, timeline, last updated, priority, budget, notes, and any others. Now, don't worry if you don't know what these mean right now. You can always go back and change them later. In our case, we're going to be simply doing some work tools. So we're just going to select owner, whoever's doing it, status, due date, and I will also add a priority as well as any notes we want. So we can see now that these are added on to my board. And this gives you an idea of how it's actually going to work before you jump right into the platform. So for each task I have, we can assign an owner, we can assign a status, due dates, priorities, notes, and any of these other ones if I want. In our case though, we just want to keep it like this and we'll hit next. Next thing we'll get is real-time insights with dashboards. Now these are the different ways you can actually view your tasks. There is the tasks overview, task by status, by owner, overdue tasks, and tasks by due date. Now, when it comes to just getting comfortable with the platform, I would select all of them here because we want to see everything on our dashboard. The next is the view layout, and these are the different ways you can actually visualize your tasks. You can have table view, which looks like this, which is just a bunch of different tasks. We also have timeline view, which looks much like a Gantt chart. We actually have a Gantt chart here where things are connected task to task. We have cards here, we have a Kanban, and we also have calendar. So you can visualize it in the best way possible. Now, in this case, we can use any one we want, but in our case, we're just going to use table because it's the simplest to get into and work with. Next, I get to list my projects. So I could say new video, and that's my first project here. We could say new script, and then we could say new editing. And once we've got those in, I can go ahead and hit get started, but I'm just gonna go ahead and take out new in there because it just really can be video, script, editing. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove new there because we don't really need that for every one of these. And I'm purposely gonna leave these out of order so that video's first and editing's last and script is in the middle. And you'll see why in a minute. Once we're ready to go, we can go ahead and hit get started, and we're gonna get right into Monday.com's dashboard. So this is our project dashboard. When we add or edit data in the board, we will see it reflected here. Now, this might be a bit overwhelming at first, but there is an actual step-by-step walkthrough so we can get comfortable with Monday.com. As you can see here, this is where the statuses are. And as we talked about earlier, the status on a particular task can be edited just simply by clicking on it and adjusting it from either working on it, done, stuck, not started, or whatever we want. If we want to change these statuses, all we have to do is hit the edit labels button and we can go and adjust them as needed, or add new ones with our own color if we want. Next, we can actually assign an owner for a particular task. And as we can see here, if I hover over it, this is my name. And if I want to add myself to the script and editing, all I have to do is click on this, and now I'm added. And if I click on this here, we can see that I'm now added to every single task. We also have the ability to actually make adjustments to our whole task. If we go over here to the very far left, we can see there's a little 3-dot icon here. And if we click on it, we can either open the task, open it in a new tab, do things like move it, duplicate it, add sub items, or connect certain apps to the actual task itself. In our case, we're just going to go ahead and hit duplicate without updates. And we're going to see here that we now, in just a few moments, have a copy of our video task with the same status, same owner, same due date, priority, etc. And adjusting everything else is about as simple as you would expect it to be. If I click on due date, we can see I can adjust it. If we click on priority, we can adjust it again, and I can actually go in and adjust any notes. But more than that, if I actually want to go in and view a particular task, I can hit open task here. Now, once we've actually opened the task, we can see everything that we saw in our actual task view, but now in a full screen mode. So we can see things like all these updates, we've got these files, as well as any activity logs. So we can see what the activities are by other people. In this case, we can see that it's loading me. And if I go ahead and add view here, we can see different ways to actually view this. So we can see the item description, we can see different things like the chart, the Gantt view, the item card, the table, etc., and add even more views for our particular item. In the item card, we can see everything that's laid out horizontally here, but now just in a vertical format. And if we add any more columns, those will update here as well. And those are just individual tasks. Now, if I want to actually make updates to my task, well, you can see that if I just hover over particular tasks, there are icons that come up to give me hints on what I can actually do next. If I want to go ahead and rename video copy to say film video, I can do that. I just have to hit enter, and now it's been completely renamed. And again, if I actually want to make it full screen and open the task, all I have to do is hover over this icon. I don't have to go to these 3 dots every time, but these 3 dots will give me everything here available if I click on through here. We also have things like this little button here, which, as I'm sure you could possibly imagine, comes up with Sidekick, because a lot of applications that have this little icon like this tend to have some sort of AI in there. So with this Sidekick, we can see that I'm working on something called film video. So here are some tailored suggestions. We're not going to use this for the meantime, but at least you know that it's there. As well, we also have things like writing new updates and actually just going ahead and assigning it to other things. And if we want to go ahead and add any more columns that we forgot, all we have to do here is hit add column. We could go ahead and look at all of what is the essential, what is the super useful. And if we want to see more columns, there are a ton available to us, from status to AI powered translation to last updated to drop downs and more. It is really completely customizable and totally up to us. Now, at this point, if I want to go ahead and actually put film video here as a subtask of video, how do I actually do that? If I want to actually move around a task, all I have to do is hover over the name here, click and drag it around. It's as simple as that. Or if I wanted to actually add a subtask, all I have to do is hit this little arrow here that says expand this item, and we can see that I have subtasks available to me here. So I can add a little sub item that says get recording done, and then I can either press shift and enter to begin writing another subtask, or just simply enter to add that subtask. And as we can see here, the owner can be set to me again. The status can be set to its own independent thing, or we could just focus on the status of the primary task. And I can also add things like date, priority, notes, etc. Changing tasks in your different list is actually pretty simple. If I want to move, say, script, which has a status of done, over from to do to completed, all I have to do is once again click, drag, and move it down here. And now it's in completed, and that's great. If I want to add more groups here, all I have to do is hit this add new group button, and we can see that I've got a new group right here. And again, I could go ahead and rename it if I want to. I just hovered over that name, and I could say blocked, for instance. Hit enter, and now we've got a new color. And if I want to go change the group color or adjust anything about it, I just again have to click on these three dots actually beside the name, and then we can see here that I can rename the group, change the group color, and let's say instead of purple, I want this nice kind of crimson-y color. There we go, blocked. Now editing, we're stuck. We're getting nowhere. So I can just go ahead, click, drag, and move it down to blocked. And if I want to move it again, I can just take this blocked and literally just drag it up so that blocked is above to do. It's as easy as that to simply click, drag, and move things around. So now that you've got an idea of how to actually use this to go ahead and create your individual boards, create your individual items, let's talk about how to actually adjust things once you're looking at this. In that case, we can go ahead and hit new task at the top here to simply create that new task, or we can hit the drop down to create a new group of tasks. We also have the ability to search through individual tasks, filter it by person, filter by anything. So if I wanted to filter by, say, the earliest due date, etc., we have the ability to adjust these things here or group them as needed. And if I click these three little dots here, we can see that I can pin specific columns or adjust item heights, etc. Now this is what my board looks like in this main table view. But let's say I wanted to view it in a slightly different way. Well, I could go ahead and hit this plus icon here and hit add view. And let's say I want to view this not in a table format, but let's say I want to view it in a calendar format. So I just have to click that. And now we can see that this is my new view on my board with my tasks in here. And as we can see the statuses at the bottom as well as the specific dates. And we can go ahead and filter through as necessary. And if I want to get back to my other board, all I have to do is go back up here to main table, and now I'm back in my table view. And again, adding any view is as simple as clicking that, let's do Kanban, and we'll go ahead and get that. And now we can see, boom, done, working on it, stuck, get started, etc. If I want to invite any teammates to this particular board, all I have to do is go up to the right-hand corner and hit invite, and then I can just search by name, team, or email address. There are also some helpful tools here, like our AI Sidekick, the ability to enhance, which allows us to use AI to enhance our board. We can also do any integrations with third-party tools, things like integrating with Google, Asana, Basecamp. There are tons of different external applications that'll actually allow us to connect directly to Monday.com. We could do Google Calendar, we could do OneDrive, we could use tons of different AI apps or marketplace apps, etc. Some paid, some free, but all giving us the ability to do more with Monday.com. And then if we want to, we actually have some built-in automation tools, like when an item is created, assign the creator as the person. So say for instance that any new task that I create, I automatically want to assign myself to it. Well, I just have to click on this and hit create automation, and let me actually specify that the owner is going to be the one who's assigned, and then I'm going to create that automation. And now once this automation is live, it runs natively in Monday.com, and I don't have to make any adjustments, and I can always view it from this automation tab, once again visible in the top right hand corner of the screen. And so now if I go ahead and click a new task here and I say new task and hit enter, we can see that it should automatically, once the automation runs in the background, as we can see an automation is running and completed, it's now added me as the owner. And you can do that with all different aspects of what you can do with Monday.com to make things easier and automatable. On the left side here, we can see the different tabs such as the home screen, which as we set up earlier was the update feed, my workspaces, my board, my dashboard and reports. And if we go ahead and actually go to dashboard and reports, we can see all of the dashboards that I set up in the beginning as I was onboarding, my tasks by status, by owner, overdue tasks, tasks by due date, etc. And all these things are completely customizable and can connect to as many boards as you want. So in this case, we have one connected board, but if I wanted to create a new board, all I would have to do is in my workspaces here, which is my main workspace, hit this drop down here, and we can see that I can add any other workspaces I want to. But if I want to just add a new board, I can hit this button here that says add new item to workspace, and I can add a new project, portfolio, board, doc, dashboard, form, folder, or any other installed apps. It's as simple as that. So I've got Josh's board now and dashboard and reporting, but let's say I want to add another board. All I have to do is hit add board and then type my new board in, type what the privacy is going to be, select what I'm managing on the board, and then just hit create board. And then there's going to be another board visible right down here that I could click into and add tasks as needed with their own custom group titles and custom statuses, etc. If I navigate up here to my work, we can see this is everything that's currently assigned to me and allows me to see across all different boards anything that's particularly assigned to me, grouped by statuses like past date, today, this week, next week, later, without a date, or calendar view, again, everything that's related to me specifically, and just allows me to view all the tasks related directly to me in an easy to understand way. I can also view notifications by going to the top right hand corner here and hitting notifications, where I can see anything that's added to me, where I'm mentioned, anything that's assigned to me, and more. I also have an update feed here where we can see that somebody called Royman, who I imagine works at Monday.com, has said, "Hello, we're so glad you're here," and then gives me an update feed. And if I can see what goes in my feed, I just have to hit see more, and we can see all updates posted to boards that I'm invited to. Even if I wasn't mentioned or assigned, we can see updates on items I own or subscribe to, and updates that directly mention you or your team. So in this case, the notifications would be immediately everything that's being updated. But if I want to see actually everything in one big feed, we can see all updates here and filter by all updates, what I was mentioned in, bookmarks, etc. Inviting members to my workspace and not just a particular list is as simple as going up here and hitting invite members, and we can see that I could simply invite them to my workspace, which contains all of my boards, dashboards, etc. We also have the Monday Marketplace, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a spot where you can add all of these different automations and integrations with other third-party apps. I have the ability to also go and search through the entire application if I want to, and I also have a help tab, so if I ever get stuck, I know where to go. And as far as updating goes, if I go up here to the top right-hand corner of the screen, we can see everything from my profile to importing data, automations, developers, administration, explore, etc. And set my working status from do not disturb to more, working from home, out sick, out of office, and anything I need. And overall, it's really just that simple. Monday.com is a great way to track your tasks effectively, invite team members, and collaborate on things together. It's a great way to actually manage things in different board settings, different tasks, different views, and allows you to have so much customization in terms of what you're actually building. So what are you going to track on Monday.com? Whether you're using it for business use or personal use, I'm sure you can find productivity here in some way or another. As always, thank you so much for watching. My name is Josh Mountain, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.